I started making a lot of money in commercial art. I joined a private club and had time to practice. When I started getting to be a senior, that's when I started winning everything. And I kept improving and improving until I think when I was over 70, I started winning all these tournaments nationally and everything.
I've been a friend of Bud's a long time and have golfed with him many, many times, and his mind is always working like that. Sometimes it's to his fantasy side, and sometimes it's just to the fact that he would have designed the hole differently than the architect. He's been a scratch golfer back in his old days, well, his younger days, I should say. And now I would think if there was a tour for guys 80 and over, he'd be a winner every weekend.
I think I was very fortunate that my mother was an artist and she lived to be almost 104. But she painted all the time, and she was very good. And I remember again sitting on her lap as a little kid watching her paint, and then I would paint along with her. And it wasn't long before I started thinking, well, why is she painting that? That's wrong. She should be doing it this way. But I think that was my career in commercial art. I started making a lot of money because I could paint realistic and I could make things better than they could possibly take with photographs. I was very successful in my commercial art, but meeting a prospector that was interested in buried treasure and the caballos, that completely, I had to go and join them and see what I could do, but I went completely bust on it, lost everything, and I had to find another grub stake to get back to make some more money. And as soon as I said that, an explosion hit me, and I said, why not paint golf holes, infamous golf holes, and put them in places that don't, you know, they're what best places in the world and exciting, and make them so difficult people won't know if they're real or not. So anyway, I got back and painted these first four, and I sent them into Golf Digest. When they first saw them, they all thought they were real. And they said, how much money do you want to allow us to publish that? And I'm dead broke now, and I have no money, and my whole thing was on these golf paintings, and I didn't have enough money for an ad in the back of the book. So I says, well, instead of paying me any money, give me a free ad in the back of the book. And they says, it's a deal. And they couldn't even believe it. The orders started coming in, and I owed the banks millions. I got them paid off, and God, everything was wonderful. And to this day, Golf Digest has never had a response on an ad that was put in the book like that. So anyway, it was so successful, they said, well, let's keep them going. And so I kept all 18 going, make some more money. I did design them like a golfer could play them. I always gave you a bailout area, and you could go for the green or you could play it safe. And Pete Dye even suggested that I might have influenced all the golf architects after they'd seen my paintings. That all of them had some effect on the future of the golf designs that you see today. Trump, he's got his waterfalls on all his holes and things like that. So I think I had a little influence on the golf architects and how the golf designs were made today.
I tell people that there's only one person that could have painted those paintings, and that's Bud, because you needed to be a great artist, which he is, but you really needed to be a great golfer and understand the nuances of the game of golf. That's what you have in the infamous 18. We just finished the premier exhibit of the infamous 18 in Washington, D.C.
When I see the art, what I see is I want to be there. Not only is it beautiful in its own right and very descriptive and creative, but it makes me want to be on that tee. I mean, it makes me want to be able to hit that ball off that tee. You know, when I see each one of these pieces of art, it's phenomenal.
I always appreciated golf from the beauty of the golf course. The undulating lines and the trees and the green. Well, if you take that and put it, exponentially on another level with all these beautiful places around the world, then you have this really amazing part illusion, part reality. I mean, you almost feel like, does that exist?
Not everybody that came to the exhibit were golfers. They weren't. A lot of people were interested in the art part of it. When they looked at the paintings, they could see the magnificence of the artwork. And we realized that the one thing that hadn't been done that really should be done was to do a limited edition, high quality Giclée prints of the infamous 18 holes. What the world knew of the infamous 18 was from the art posters that had been sold for many years, since the 80s. And back then, the printing techniques and everything that was available really could not replicate the beauty of the paintings. Now we're in the computer age. We have super duper scanners that can take an image and just recreate it on the screen. And so the computer, the scan, and the Giclée process literally replicate the painting. When people buy a set of them or individual prints, they are going to have a replica of the infamous 18 original paintings. Since we were only going to do this one time, it was going to be 5,000 sets and no more would ever be done, signed by Bud, numbered. So when you hang one of these on your wall, it's the same thing as hanging the original, except it doesn't cost you $1 million a painting.
My gold hunting and all my losses there and discovering these paintings that I did in the mountains, little did I realize then that it wasn't gold and silver that I discovered, but it was the infamous golf holes. That was what I was searching for.